morning. It's me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. We're here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our external interactions with others, in our environment, in our ability to be able to manifest the things that we desire. And if we want to change those experiences we're having, we have to shift and change the energy inside of ourselves and balance it out. This is energy, not gender. And you embody a balance of that. And that is what we're looking at today. We're going to start with divine masculine energy today because he has one card showing. Divine feminine did not show any cards. And today is the general tune-in. So we're going to look at head space first and then heart space. Okay, top of the deck, overall forefront of divine masculine's headspace is the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. We were just looking at this card yesterday in the reading that I did with Grace Strega on Instagram, which I do every Sunday. We check in masculine, feminine energy. She takes one side, I take the other. And then after that, we answer personal questions and draw cards for people. If you ever want to have cards pulled, join us on Sundays. So yeah, we looked at this yesterday, and it was from the same deck, which honestly I left out because I really like it and just wanted to use it again. This is a tattoo tarot. And in this image, it's striking to me how lonely this individual seems. We have the dog here, of course, which is like this loyalty and companionship. And then we see him gazing in this, like, it's not like in a praising way. You know, it's interesting because in the original imagery for the card, we don't see this kind of, I'm just trying to think of the image. We don't really see this kind of look on the patriarch's face. There's more of this sense of like legacy kind of thing coming from that. This is a forlorn look, like a feeling, and this is what I said yesterday, there's this overall worry or concern that this masculine energy is not going to get what he wants. I also think that there's questions of loyalty for him, about his own loyalty or perhaps about divine feminine's loyalty, but I think it really has more to do with his own because he's here by himself, like, because potentially of betrayals that have taken place. It's like he's lost the ability to have this now because of what he's done. The niggling thing in the back of his mind is the moon, which is fitting. We're moving into that full moon cycle soon. This is about fears and anxiety. So he's worried. There's concern. This is about dreams, subconscious beliefs. It's also about cycles and moon phases. But I think underlying all of his thoughts and decisions, he's just really worried. And there's a lot of secrets that have been kept, most likely about whatever this situation is here. So that's underlying everything. It's just all that has been hidden is in the back of his mind. The first thing on his mind is justice, upright. And so this is a legal judgment in his favor in some cases, or just a feeling of balancing the scales. So a sense that he can bring in justice, or knowing that he must. Divine feminine is holding the scales and she's blindfolded. And I'm struck by the fact that the moon is that niggling thing in the back of the mind, which is those secrets. So there's things that she doesn't know. There's truths that haven't yet been revealed, but justice is blind. She doesn't need to see the truth to know it. And that's kind of like an inner knowing aspect of the feminine. So those are all things that he's thinking about. The next thing on his mind is this Nine of Pentacles energy in reverse. So this is a card of self-indulgence when we're seeing it in its shadow, about being really too self-indulgent. But it's also about releasing attachments to the outcome. When we get very attached to material abundance or the external appearance of the situation, or a specific iteration of somebody, a specific person, there's a need to release that attachment. And so the other thing that might be happening too that we're seeing is that whatever sort of justice is coming here is allowing him to release this past partner, past feminine energy that maybe was costing him a lot of money. But the other meaning too is this feminine energy. We have the falcon that appears in the Nine of Pentacles, and the falcon is a bird of prey that returns to you. You send it out and it's wild and it comes back to you. So there's that energy too, that he may feel that the justice, the karma that he has received is that he's lost this feminine, and he's hoping that she will return to him, because as he balances the scales, there will hopefully be some kind of a rectifying of a situation where he's lost something he's desired very much. So there's all those different layers there. And then we have the Knight of Wands upright. And what's interesting is in this deck, the Knight of Wands has a androgynous sort of feel, hedging towards a feminine energy. And typically we're seeing a masculine energy in the Knight of Wands. And there's, this is, in its light, it's like sweeping you off your feet, throwing caution to the wind, being spontaneous, being very passionate about something, and excited, and sexual energy. And then when we're seeing it in its shadow, it's inconsistency and, just a sort of shallow kind of a sexual energy, non-committal, love bombing type of a thing. But we're seeing this card come out in its light. And so we're seeing that divine masculine really carrying a torch for the divine feminine, being swept off his feet by her, feeling her passion, and I think also fearing her inconsistencies as well. But understanding based on that karma card that it's part of this justice because of the loyalty that was broken and the connection. The next card, however, is the Sun, and this is upright, and this is the most auspicious card to receive, and it is clarifying this justice, which is why I'm saying I feel there was a legal judgment in divine masculine's favor. And we are seeing that there is this potential for him to be able to come in now very swiftly with that Knight of Wands energy and finally see this fulfillment of his bliss. So what's interesting is that in this depiction of the Sun, we don't see any figures. We just see this is actually represents the divine masculine himself. And we have what looks like 3 pentacles, which makes us think of the 3 of Pentacles, which is a 3D kind of a grounding energy. And also 3, we've got that union and unity, 3 of Cups, celebration, happiness. To be clarifying, that Justice card is quite positive. So with this legal judgment, the ability to relinquish this feminine energy or this karmic experience or something where we've relinquished this feminine energy that wasn't serving. I think also we have to mention that the Nine of Pentacles is about being single too. And so there is a resistance on Divine Masculine's part for the Divine Feminine to be single because of her ability to be able to have a lot of, in his mind, sexual experiences, and he is wanting to have that with her alone. That's why he's been having these concerns over this loyalty and betrayal, stuff like that. And the next thing we see is the Two of Swords. So we've got a decision, and this is a standstill, and it's a situation where we don't want to make a choice, because if we make one choice, one individual is hurt, and if we make the other choice, another individual is hurt. So it's like this isn't a win-win kind of a feeling. But the Two of Swords is also about going inward, because that blindfold, again, we have two divine feminines blindfolded. And I think there's probably been a decision that had to be made between which divine feminine to release. And so whichever one is released, the other one will, experience the pain from that. And so there's a feeling of guilt on the Divine Masculine's part about having to choose between the two. There is potentially happiness in a karmic situation, right? But ultimately, the decision for happiness rests with this Divine Masculine. And whichever direction he chooses, one person's happiness is guaranteed and the other's assuredly not, right? So it's a difficult decision for him to make. And then the final thought is that the Three of Wands is in reverse. This is long overdue. And to be clarifying this Nine of Wands energy, it's like the time is now, and a swift action must be taken in order to come out of this standstill energy. And this is a feeling of it's overdue, it's long overdue. The ships have come in and they're waiting, and no one is there to receive them, and everybody's late. That's the feeling of the headspace. All right, so that's the headspace. The heart space, top of the deck, overall feeling is the Ten of Cups. Now, this is clarifying the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And we saw a lot of stress and pain and loneliness, sadness in this material card. And the Ten of Cups is representing spiritual bliss and spiritual fulfillment and spiritual union. And this Divine Masculine is releasing the attachment that he has to material prosperity, to external validation, to all of these things that he thought were so important, so clever, so meaningful. But it's almost like this man who has come to the end of his days, seeing like the legacy that he's left behind. He has this loyal companion, but in the end, all of this that he has is gone, right? He can't take any of this with him. All he can take when he goes is all of these heart-centered connections that he has made with others. The rest is dust. And there's a strong sense that he's realizing that. And because of that, he's putting down, this is the niggling feeling in the heart space, which is the Knight of Swords in reverse. So he's putting down this recklessness this moving too fast that he was doing before, and this not being willing to be really honest with himself about the secrets that he's kept hidden, about the subconscious reasons for these lies and secrets, and really wanting to, or actually not really wanting to look deeply at the reasons why it's taken him so long to realize this lesson. But we see the lesson and we see the sun. We see justice and we see the sun. So we know that ultimately his spiritual bliss is guaranteed from the results of this journey. This justice card is being clarified by the Mother of Wands in reverse. And this is a Queen of Wands energy in reverse. So this could be about divine masculine receiving a legal judgment, releasing him from an attachment to a Queen of Wands. I actually feel like what we're looking at is that the divine masculine is experiencing karma from the divine feminine. I think that she is feeling angry, jealous, passionate, reactive, wounded, and so, and because of that has pulled away from the divine masculine. So he's very attracted. There's that magnetic energy. He's very attracted, but she is pulling away from him, repelled by the karmic situation that has taken place. So there's that layer as well. It's most likely both things. Like divine masculine is releasing a karmic, and that experience has caused the divine feminine, watching that experience has caused the divine feminine to be in this angry, jealous kind of a space. Now we're seeing the Nine of Pentacles in reverse with the Six of Wands the Seven of Wands in reverse. So we saw this come up in a reading yesterday where the divine masculine feels that he has lost the divine feminine because she is no longer fighting for the connection, that she has grown apart from him and decided not to fight for the connection. And so that's why he's hoping for this falcon energy of her coming back to him. It's also about divine masculine maybe not fighting anymore his desires for what it is that he wants. He wants divine feminine to not be single anymore. He wants to be with her. He doesn't want her to be a free agent any more than she wants him to be a free agent at this point. He just wants to come into that union with her. And so he's maybe not even fighting his own desire for that connection or the flame that burns within him for her. It could also be that he's releasing that flame too. It really depends on, where you fall in what resonates and what doesn't. This Knight of Wands, which of course we saw that feminine energy in, we are seeing here this Six of Cups. It's a beautiful Six of Cups. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot that I've been reading from here. And this Six of Cups shows the deep roots that are as large, if not larger, than the external growth of the tree. And this is really about past lives, and it's about innocence and memories and nostalgia. And we see that this flame that he is carrying for this feminine energy. It comes from this, it's so passionate because it comes from this deep roots, this deep history that has grown below the surface where no one has actually even seen it. And look at, that's where all the true colors are. It's only here that we can actually see all the melding of those two worlds. This pales in comparison to the history that they have. And this is about the reunion and coming together. Wow. And then we have the Sun card clarified by the Three of Wands in reverse again. So this is definitely a divine masculine who has a sense that this is a long overdue, that he has waited long enough and he is swiftly running headlong towards this connection, towards his bliss, his spiritual fulfillment, remember, which is now more important to him than his material fulfillment was. And so he's just throwing caution to the wind and just heading for his happiness because it's so long overdue. Wow, and there is the Ace of Swords with that lemniscate represented here, representing the eternal connection. Normally we're seeing a laurel crown of victory, but instead we're actually seeing the connection itself, which is always victorious. There's this lightning because it's sudden, shocking, new information, and it is clarifying this Two of Swords. So it's almost like cutting away this standstill by bringing in the truth, because divine masculine is seeing the truth of this eternal connection. And then we're seeing the Five of Swords. And it is clarifying this Three of Wands. Normally I would be talking about the defeat energy, but I'm struck by the imagery that because the divine masculine is choosing to swiftly reunite with the divine feminine and bring in the spiritual fulfillment and cut them out of this standstill with the truth of their eternal connection, that Ace of Swords is going to sever the bonds that have kept them from being able to see their fulfillment. Okay. And I do feel the divine masculine might have been feeling so defeated in the past by this divine timing. But things are coming together on his side over there. All right. Meanwhile, on divine feminine side, oh, rough. Oh my God, right in the same spot. Wow. All right, brace yourselves. Here we go. Top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of the divine feminine's mind. We have the Four of Swords in reverse. This says rest. We saw the Four of Swords 2 times. Yesterday, was it yesterday, or I don't know when it was now anymore. And this, when was it? I think it was in the release and rebuild spread, because it might have been the release and rebuild spread. It was in that spread about expressing, being expressive. When we see it in its reverse, it can be about resisting grief. And so divine feminine might be experiencing or not allowing herself to experience grief, or like only doing it a little bit. But it can also be about her waking up And I'm strongly pulled towards this card today, especially because this deck that I chose, the Field Tarot, happens to write words on the bottom, and the word here is rest. I feel this is more that Divine Feminine is wide awake, because the niggling thing in the back of her mind is this Page of Cups in reverse, and this card has the word dreams written on it. So Divine Feminine is no longer asleep and dreaming. She's no longer living in a fantasy. She is having to release her dreams and her fantasies completely, which is very painful. She might be resisting the grief that comes up as her. This is a feeling of my dreams are crushed. I never saw these apologies. I never saw any fulfillment. I was offered a cup I was never given. Or I was like shown a cup I was never truly offered, maybe is a better way to say that. And she's awake. She's not sleeping anymore. She's not in denial anymore at 7:44 on my clock. She's not denial anymore about what has gone on in this situation, in this particular connection. If this is a connection, the first thing on her mind is the Princess of Swords or the Page of Swords. And this is a card about being brave, and it's about being curious. It says actually curiosity on it. It's like finding the truth and then sort of, looking at it. But I think what I see Divine Feminine thinking about is no longer watching or spying and trying to find out information about this Prince of Wands or this Knight of Wands energy, which we already saw over here on Divine Masculine's side. Now, it's so interesting because in the Divine Masculine side, we were seeing this feminine energy. And now for Divine Feminine, we're seeing, of course, this Prince energy. And I do think that Divine Feminine got herself into trouble, being too curious about what exactly this Knight of Wands behavior Divine Masculine engaged in constituted. Like, she doesn't want to look anymore. She doesn't want to see it. She doesn't want to see it anymore. She wants to stop looking because she realizes that what she's looking for is confirming limiting beliefs she has about masculine energy. And she doesn't want to do that. So she wants to wake up from her fantasy, stop looking at this past energy, stop trying to find out information about what he's doing or who he's with, or just putting that curiosity down, and that need to know this information about this person, and instead focusing completely on herself. We have this Queen of Pentacles energy. Now there's this pregnancy here. I keep getting birth announcement type stuff in my readings and fertility and stuff. So there might be some of that going on in the collective. But this is also about being I just thought of pregnant pause, like a time where you're gestating and you're really bringing that creation that you've been wanting to bring into the world. You're nurturing it. You're making sure all of its needs are met so that it can be fully realized here in the 3D. So there's that energy coming from this. And she doesn't want to be focused on this other individual right now when it's so important that she really just takes care of herself and her own creation. And we're seeing the Knight of Pentacles, and this is what is clarifying the Page of Swords in reverse. So I do see this Divine Feminine in the past engaging in this behavior where she was constantly trying to look and see what was going on because things were moving so slowly. So this can be somebody who's always reading cards, right? I went from reading cards for the collective every single day and doing this style of a reading every day. And I really transitioned into trying to do readings that were more helpful than just sort of trying to figure out, when this was going to happen, which was really not serving me or anyone else who's watching my readings. So the slow moving energy of something that she feels is incredibly reliable, she stopped trying to see when it's coming, see how it's coming, see who it is. She's not concerned with who is in this suit of armor. She just knows that there is this reliable, steady, stable energy that's matching her own willingness to be methodical as she tries to nurture herself to receive. Now, what's fascinating is that in the same placement that we saw Divine Masculine's Two of Swords, Divine Feminine has the Two of Swords, and we're seeing her back. And this is more like the traditional image where we see her back, but in this we see her front. So it's almost like she herself is blocking the Divine Masculine energy right now. She can't see what's going on. We saw her, she's not trying to see anymore because it's too painful. It crushes her dreams when she does that. So there's this standstill energy. Now she also is having to make a choice, and her choice we're seeing is between Divine Masculine's choice was between his happiness, his spiritual fulfillment, and his material fulfillment, and he's choosing the material fulfillment. A Divine Feminine's choice is between this solid, stable, reliable energy and this Four of Cups in reverse. And to me, this is the grounding of her fantasy into reality. So we have with that Page of Cups in reverse and this card, which says meditation on the bottom, but this is usually associated with dream space and fantasy. We're seeing her release emotional maturity as well. So she has to choose between waiting for this slow and steady, reliable energy, or choose to just relinquish this fantasy and kind of move on from here because it's been so incredibly painful at this point. So that's where she is. That's a decision she has to make. And the Divine Masculine is acutely aware of that decision, which is why his Knight of Wands is here, because he wants to swiftly bring in this connection. But the Knight of Swords is in reverse because there is wisdom in this idea that he would rather not move too fast because he doesn't want to fumble his spiritual fulfillment. But he realizes that the speed that he's been moving, which is like, not moving, is really not fast enough. And he needs to pick up the pace to match Divine Feminine's level of investment and passion and interest. Let's look at the heart space. Top of the deck, overall feeling of the heart space, the Nine of Wands in reverse. And we're using the Tarot of the Divine, and this has the Baba Yaga story on it. And we have this little Russian girl who gets imprisoned by this witch. And the Nine of Wands is about being isolated and about being often alone, having fought a hard battle, and healing and your wounds. And then this Four of Swords that it's clarifying is also a card of healing in reverse. So Divine Feminine, I feel the reason why she's awakened to the fact that she has to let go of these dreams or fantasies is precisely because she has healed the part of herself that needed to live in this fairy tale, in this fantasy world, that had trapped or imprisoned herself in something that just really wasn't real. That's her overall feeling of her heart space. She has healed these wounds and she doesn't need to stay in this energy anymore. Now, the niggling feeling, however, is the Queen of Swords in reverse. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't know this deck completely, so I don't know exactly which legend or fairy tale or myth this is. But the Queen of Swords in reverse is overthinking. It's being a bit manipulative or conniving. It's being really defensive. And seeing her in this Two of Swords energy, we know that she's definitely got her hackles up and is blocking anything that she doesn't feel resonates with her alignment. So she's very much in this defensive energy having come out of this place of healing her wounds, she now feels like an urge to protect herself from receiving more wounds or reopening old wounds. So we definitely see this maybe hardness kind of coming in, a bit of a hardness, definitely. The first card in her heart space is the Five of Cups upright, and it is clarifying this Page of Swords. So this is definitely confirmation for me that she doesn't want to look anymore. She doesn't want to see. Look at, even in this image, she's covering her face and turning away. She looked at this third party energy and she saw it. I did, and I saw it. And it hurt so much. It hurt her so much to see this energy come back in. Remember, this doesn't have to be a person. It could be if a person has an addiction, they've returned to the addiction. It could be a karmic partner. It could be just a return for like the outside energy that's preventing them, whatever. She looked, she saw, it devastated her. And she doesn't want to look anymore. She wants to be optimistic about her ability to have a physical union, to have a Two of Cups, to have a partnership, a loving relationship here and now, no matter what has gone on before. So she doesn't want to look and see anymore. She's done. She's like, I don't want to see it. It hurts me so much to see it. It makes me feel so forgotten, like neglected, confused, all of those things, and taken for granted. And so she doesn't want that anymore. She's like, no, I'm not going to look and see who he's with. I'm not going to try to figure out how long that's taken place. I'm just going to focus on my potential to have love. And I can't focus on that if I'm focused on this Knight of Wands, who has really been a player. So I'm leaving. I'm going away. And this is the Divine Feminine and a child in the boat, which is normally there's a masculine energy too. And in this case, it's just like, nope, just the feminine and her creation and what it is that she wants to or what she has already brought to the world, if she does have a child, or if she has something that's being gestated in that Queen of Pentacles energy. She's just like, it's up to me to leave behind this behavior that has caused so much sadness for me. And I just want to go to a brighter shore. I want to go to where I feel better. And if I have to do that alone, then I have to do that alone. This is resonating with me so much. I don't even know if I can say this without crying, but I have to send my son back to the East Coast around Saturday. And I didn't get the tickets yet because, like a true Pisces rising, I was like, maybe there'll be a way that I won't have to send him back to his abusive father. So, really resonating with me that she wants to be able to just leave for another shore and find those two cups that are behind her and not look anymore at the heartbreak that was caused in this last situation. And then we're seeing her in this Queen of Pentacles energy, and we're seeing the Star. And we do have this strong sense that the Divine Feminine feels perfectly capable of doing this. She feels capable of moving on. She is healed. We saw those cards in reverse that are about healing. She has healed. She has healed the wounds that would prevent her from having a union. She has healed the wounds that would prevent her from liberating herself from anything that felt terrible. And I got to tell you, seeing someone else with their arms around somebody who tells you that they love you is terrible. It's a terrible feeling. It's a true, I've only had my physical heart hurt a couple of times in my life. Once when my grandmother died and I was away in college and I couldn't see her. I couldn't go home for the funeral or anything. I was walking across the campus and I had just found out about it, and I had to call my brothers and tell them. And my heart like squeezed, like physically hurt. That is the feeling. And divine feminine is wanting to leave a feeling, she wants to not be with a person who could make her feel like that, and be okay with it, be comfortable with it, not find a way to stop that feeling from happening for her. So she's just gonna be taking her unconscious desires and pouring them into the material. And she's truly connected to the divine in this energy and shining and not hiding it from anyone. This Knight of Pentacles in upright is being clarified by the moon in reverse, which we already saw today. And this is divine feminine wanting to release limiting subconscious beliefs about her ability to have a solid, steady, reliable situation with a partner. She wants to release all of the anxieties and fears and worries about love that come from slow moving energy. And it's so interesting because this is the divine feminine here on the card. And then we're following that up with the high priestess, which is again the divine feminine energy, totally in tune, completely intuitive. So she wants to really trust her divine feminine energy in making this choice that she has to make between waiting for that slow moving energy and being in this fear and anxiety and dealing with the limiting beliefs that make her feel her heart hurt. Like I had to process, I'm like, is this jealousy? It's not really jealousy. I mean, there is the ego's attachment. It's more for me just a feeling of, well, it's like, why would you? It's just this mystery of like, why would you hold me captive when you have other energy in mind? It's so strange to me. It's just like, that is the feeling that hurts. It's not like the other energy. I honestly could give a shit. It's like, what did you hold me captive for? And that is what hurts. It's like, oh, you did that because you were selfish. Oh. And I accepted that because I didn't feel worthy of anything better. That's what I felt. That's what I felt heart pain over. That I would love someone who would do that because I would not feel worthy of that loyalty. So divine feminine is trusting herself to be able to make this choice using her intuition, feeling out the best way forward. And the final card is the Four of Cups in reverse, and it is being clarified by the Hanged Man in reverse. In this case, it is the Hanged Woman. And she is standing on her own 2 feet. She is not going to be in a standstill anymore. The pause for her is over. She is moving on. She is, I think, very heart-centered and has found a way to choose herself and her own healing and what is best for her at this time, and to leave her fantasy behind, because it turns out that her fantasy really is not valuing her, is not coming forward and choosing her. And so it's just a fantasy of love, because true love chooses you no matter what. So she's releasing that. She's not going to be stuck anymore. I think that's beautiful. Honestly, beautiful. All right, let's look at the oracles for divine masculine. We will start with his archetype. He is in the shadow attributes right now of the thief. This is stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. And the light is to shed light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. So Divine Masculine is very worried about Divine Feminine stealing his heart, which is why he protects it. And because this, this wherever your heart is, what is that? Wherever if your riches are on earth, wherever your riches are, there where your heart be also. So only spiritual riches will actually keep you from feeling like someone can steal. Someone can steal this from you. If this is your happiness, someone can steal it. They can burn your house down. They could take your money. They could ruin your reputation. They could literally kidnap your family, hurt them. They could steal them and kill them. Like your dog. They could steal your dog. Every single thing you have, material thing, can be taken from you. This is the only thing that you have that can't be stolen from you, which is why Divine Masculine is being called by his heart to choose his spiritual fulfillment. It can never be taken from him. No one can take it. You are also in the shadow attributes right now of the gambler. This is relying on luck rather than hard work, and you need to call in the light, which is a willingness to follow your intuition even when others doubt you. So this Fool energy, you're being a little bit too cautious right now because of your fear of your heart being stolen or losing. And that Nine of Pentacles in reverse, like losing your wealth, losing your reputation or your prestige or something. It's annoying. Just follow your intuition, which is the Divine Feminine inside of self. And do the work. It's your turn to get this card. Heaven is watching over you. You are safe and protected. You don't have to be afraid that what you love is going to be stolen from you. Only you can steal that from yourself. You have heaven watching over you with the compassion of a nurturing mother, making sure that you're safe and that nothing can harm you. My vibes speak louder than my words. My Divine Masculine has used many, many, many words to describe his feelings about me and about what he wants to do and his fears and his anxieties. But overwhelmingly, I see no progress. And that is all I can really base my experience on, because words are wind. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. So all of these things that you're doing, Divine Masculine, all of these fears and anxieties you're tackling for love, it's literally the journey. The universe is conspiring every moment to bring you toward this alignment. Remember, wellness is your natural state. This forgiveness is in reverse for me. This has got a Judgment card energy and a Divine Feminine. You are really afraid that the Divine Feminine will not forgive you. And she won't if you don't ask her for her forgiveness. She won't. She actually will. She'll still forgive you, but you won't know it because you won't have had the communication with her. So I can't even say she won't forgive you. This is an unconditional love. This is Divine Feminine. This isn't karmic feminine. It's divine. It's soulmate energy. It's unconditional love. It's roots, ancient roots. You're also just not forgiving yourself. I have been saying over and over, I forgive myself for not forgiving you. And with this, I forgive you too. Just keep saying that over and over. Communication is key. This also might have to do with the twins' ability to communicate telepathically, but if you want forgiveness, seek it through communication. This inner temple card is in reverse. Devotion. Tune in to the portal of your heart. That's twice. You need to follow your intuition. You need to tune into your heart space. Right? What is your heart space? Your heart space is in bliss. Tune into that. Butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful, and I'm actually going to read it today. It is the 11 card. Joy and the beautiful lightness of being alive and creative in the world is the focus when butterfly spirit flutters before you. Transformation is inevitable as you grow into your most beautiful, empowered self. Indeed, you will go through some uncomfortable stages as you let go of the forms of your life that no longer fit the new you. Even relationships must go through shifts to match your new emerging self. If you focus on the beauty and not the challenges, stop taking yourself too seriously, and choose to be playful, loving, and joyous, you will soon know the miracle your soul wants to experience through you. Today is a day for joy, so alight. Look around and see the beauty that is everywhere and in everyone, including you. And then I pulled a card for Divine Masculine Sexual Energy today, and I got the Reverie card in reverse, and there's a question mark on it. And I have a strong feeling that this is an indication that he's not screwing around anymore, that he's not confused about how taking things too lightly with some people has caused this reverie, this fantasy that he has to be lost. And that playing or being playful or not taking the sexual union seriously has actually really caused some issues. And he wants to be able to come back into a place where he has more certainty about the connection that he is forming in sexual union. All right, divine feminine energy. You are in the light attributes of the mystic. So you are reveling right now in an intimate union with the divine. This is very true for me. I have been experiencing a lot of turmoil, and whenever I experience it, I immediately have been turning to God, praying, and really understanding that that is why I have experienced the things I've experienced. And so, divine feminine, you're very much in that space. You keep coming back to this union with the divine, and because of that, what's happening in your external environment can't shake you. You are in the shadow attributes right now of the engineer, which is a reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. So you're being a bit detached right now because you have a lot of grief that you're going through. You're kind of detaching yourself and making these sort of cold, hard decisions, right? This very Queen of Swords, this engineer, this is overthinking that's going on. So you just really need to stop, I think, trying to fix things or make things work or come up with a solution, or just relinquish that Queen of Swords energy and let that intimate with the divine guide you. You know, this rest card being in reverse could definitely be about divine feminine not being able to sleep, having sleepless nights. This is a call to rest. And I've been doing that as much as I can, because sleep, when I'm asleep, to a certain extent, I mean, I dream things, but some of that feeling that I'm experiencing during the day gets shut down, and I kind of get to reset. And so you just need rest right now as you're going through these stages of grief. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. This is so in alignment with your mystic card and your high priestess energy. You are very much in this wisdom, but of course it does give you a certain amount of detachment. So you just have to be careful of that. Make sure that you're doing whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness, which is immaterial, not focused on the material. You're getting this fertility card in reverse. And for me, this is the Empress. When it's in reverse, it's about giving birth to something, which is painful. Requires, it's painful, it's messy. It can take a long time. I was in labor for 14 and a half hours. It's a long time. And it's not entirely comfortable. So you're experiencing that, moving from that gestational phase into the birthing of your creation. And you might be feeling like there might be some difficulty if you're trying to write new music or write poems, or you're working in some kind of a creative field. You might feel like some of the fertility that you had earlier isn't there for you. And I think part of it is that you do need to rest and process this grief. Allow the thing you already created to pass away before you can start to create new life. But your hard work is paying off. Just don't let pride get in your way, and this is emphasized for you. So make sure that you are still being really careful about that ego and checking, like, is this because of my pride is hurt? Is this because I'm jealous? I kept asking myself, is this because I'm not an overly jealous person, honestly. It's like, no, it's not because I'm jealous. If there was no promise made to me, I would not be jealous of this. I wouldn't be looking at it. I wouldn't be seeing it, because I would just be letting that person be free. That is what I always did in the past. It was only when I was told that there was something different, and now I'm seeing it, that I'm feeling this wounding. And I guess, yeah, that my pride is wounded, but it's not necessarily jealousy. It's my pride, I guess, feeling foolish, looking stupid, having people be like, you thought that was going to happen? Okay. Right? Like that kind of a fear of humiliation, or just, whatever. So kind of going in there and then going to the parent being like, okay, well, that's a shadow I need to integrate. If I'm afraid of people being like, then I need to process whatever that fear is of having people feel that way about me. So what if people feel like that? So what if they feel like that? They're reflecting back to me some limiting belief they have about themselves, right? So working on that, not letting pride get in your way, not letting it make decisions for you because you're afraid of your pride being wounded in some way. The Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits, and soul tribe. Again, there's a reminder here that there isn't just one soulmate, but many. And all of those individuals are coming together at this time. And you have to trust with that intuitive feeling that you have from that high priestess energy that all that you've asked for is coming together. And I'm shocked right now. Oh, shit. Buffalo Spirit, which came out with Butterfly. And I have a song on my record called Bison and Butterfly. So that is just too precious for words. And we also saw this this buffalo spirit before. The abundant universe will provide. And this is the 10 card also. So this is 10 and 11, which is that progression. Jesus. And I'm going to read it from the Colette Baron Reed deck, because that is just too crazy. Buffalo Spirit comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude and the extraordinary potential available to you when you adopt a mindset of abundance. The ancient people of the Americas saw the buffalo as a symbol of abundance because the herds roamed far and wide and provided so many gifts: the meat, the hide, the bones. The tribes who hunted the buffalo used every bit of them, wasting nothing, appreciative of the abundance. So too do you have many gifts available to you. Buffalo Spirit appears to let you know that you are in a powerful time to manifest your desires, not by force or pushing, but rather by following a natural path that rises up before you, trusting that there is always plenty to go around, whether it be love, money, inspiration, or support. It's all there for you to claim. When you are grateful, you immediately align yourself with the truth that the world is rich and teeming with resources. There is always more than enough, and you are always enough. At this time, you can expect all your intentions and needs to come into a form that is right for you. Your heartfelt gratitude is making you a magnet for miracles. Buffalo Spirit's message is to remember that you co-create your reality in partnership with Spirit. So offer up your thanks and your prayers, even before you see conditions you desire, not just for yourself, but for others too. Then you will quickly see the results in tangible ways. Gratitude has the magic to grow the good. So offer thanks and praise as you acknowledge all that you have and all that is possible. So there's two ways of praying. You can pray when you're in fear and anxiety for release from that fear, please help me. And then you can pray from a space where you are having gratitude for having been released. Thank you, God, for releasing me from this. I, believe that you are doing everything in your power to release me from this suffering. I am so thankful for everything you've always done to release me from suffering, etc. So the mindset that you have is going to manifest what it is you desire. I was thinking this morning when I was praying in my kitchen in fear about my son having to leave, I was imagining my grandmother, who is very devout but has a lot of issues, we'll say, and is pretty bitter and sometimes hateful. And I was picturing what her prayers must have been like for her son, who had an addiction and was in some kind of stress and chaos most of his life because of his mental health. And I thought about the different ways of praying and the reasons and the beliefs. And it was interesting. So to receive this card today kind of gives me a sense of like, I was definitely praying in fear, but I also had a relief too that was akin to that mystic reveling in the divine, where I was like, I knew that I could surrender my fear, be taken from me, and everything that was supposed to happen would work out. Like, to pray from a place of gratitude would be even more powerful. So I can see how that card is super significant. Okay, let's look at the sexual energy for Divine Feminine. It is the Three of Wands in reverse, which we saw today 2 other times in Divine Masculine's side. So Divine Feminine is long overdue for this union. The fire truck, she's like, bitch, get here fast, like, come on. There is definitely a feeling of it's been a long time and she wants to actually have like sacred union, not just sexy times, but a sacred union, because the Three of Wands is also about connecting with the divine and seeing. It's about that intimate revelry with the divine, actually being able to see the fulfillment of your desires, which segues so nicely from that abundant universe providing. So Divine Feminine is really wanting to experience that true sacred union, and she feels like it's overdue, that she's felt that union inside of self and wants a physical expression of that. All right, let's look at the final cards for the union. We have the two of you in the shadow attributes of the visionary, which is selling insights to the highest bidder or compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. You need to come into the light, which is the capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others and a willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for your personal gain. Okay, so you're both having a hard time holding the vision of this union because of all of the impediments that have been put in front of you. The divine detours and in the form of these obstacles have started to make you feel like you can't actually have the full expression of your union. And so you're starting to compromise what it is that you want because your fear is that there's no possible way that this miraculous thing could actually happen. And this is a moment to check that and to come into that light and start to envision what is not yet conceivable even to yourself. We are getting this play music card in reverse. So Saint Cecilia is here in a big way, and she's the patron saint of musicians. There might be messages from music that you are needing to receive. It's in reverse also. So maybe you haven't been engaging in some of the artistic pursuits that you normally engage in, or maybe you've been relying on this method of communication instead of actually communicating. But it could be just an emphasis also to play music, listen to music, try to gain an understanding of yourself and your world and your perspective through music. Music itself is very healing. And Saint Cecilia is here to guide you in whatever meaning this has for you. Like, she will help to show you exactly what you need to do in regards to this card. For me, it usually is that I haven't been playing music and I need to, but I've actually been playing music a lot more lately, but not live. And so but I need a rehearsal space like right now to be able to do that. That's been my current obstacle. So for me, that is to like work on that somehow. But this is for the union. So the music for the both of you, however that plays out, just have to think about how it resonates for you. When I lean on certainty and faith, I can change my mind about the world I see. So your mind is the only thing that's blocking you from seeing the world the way that you want to see it, right? Your mind, you're seeing things and your mind's like, no, it's not that way. It's probably this way. You're wrong. It's probably this way. If you can just lean in that faith and trust, then everything is going to change your mind, which will help you see the world the way you actually want to see it. You're getting this freedom card, and this is that feminine in an invisible cage. She's not really in this cage. It's an illusion. She's inside of it, and it seems so real. But as she starts to go within and find that inner light, we see there's the Holy Spirit here too that's liberating her. She's realizing that the cage is one of her own making. It's the one that's in her mind. Step out of your comfort zone. Y'all are real cozy. You got to come out of that comfort zone if you want to make progress. Rite of passage. This is the initiation, crossing the threshold, which we know is not always fun, but coming out of that cave and into the light, coming out of that darkness, and just finally revealing your true self is transformative. Rites of passage are usually painful, but they up-level you. Skunk spirit is back. Know your worth. Not everyone is going to love how you smell, but your worthiness is inherent. You have to know your worth, the both of you. This is the reason the stall is about worthiness issues, period. It's so annoying to hear that, but. And then finally, the sexy times for the union. We have the Prince of Cups, which is like the Knight of Cups, And we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And look at this one. In the Nine of Swords in this Prisma Visions tarot, this is also the sluttest tarot, by the way. This Prisma Visions tarot, we see this fearsome, weird, what is that, swan beast? And we see this individual just surrendering to it. It's going to bite off its head, and it's just like, I mean, I'm too terrified to do anything else. I'm just going to stand here and let this happen to me. This is reversed. And instead, we are seeing this Knight of Cups energy, a Prince of Cups energy, which is a willingness to express your emotions, ride those emotions, have an emotional connection, an emotional bond. And it's a release of the fears of intimacy and the fears of sexual union that exist for the both of you. In the past, I think there was a predator energy that caused you to be in this paralyzed state, and you weren't able, you could either fight, you could run, or you could freeze, and you froze, and it caused you to actually freeze some of your heart and protect your heart in that iciness, and that is melting away. And we have instead this crown energy, this purple energy coming from the crown, this enlightened, emotionally bonded, sacred sexual union that you're both interested in at this time. All right. I don't hate it. Let's go ahead and look at what we can do today that will help us come into alignment inside of self as we go through this grief in the collective for those of us that are in separation. Please click like, share, subscribe, save it in playlists, all that good stuff. Comment. Let me know if you like the style of reading, if there's other styles of reading you'd be interested in. Go to pearlsprayers.com to schedule any personal sessions, personal readings. I also teach how to get in touch with your intuition and music stuff. And go listen to my new single, It's Me Babe, that came out just at the end of July. It's pretty great. I'm very proud of it. Stream it everywhere. Help me out. Make sure all your friends know. Put it on playlists. That's a big one. And get ready for the next one that's coming out soon. All right. Oops, wait. I still have to do these. Okay. Divine Masculine. This is what you need to do today to come into alignment. You are getting the Snake, which says competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, and the other woman. And you're getting I like you in reverse, which says on it, someone likes you, romance is blooming, fun, flirting, and want to date. You're getting the Ace of Cups, the Big Lebowski deck where he's dancing on the rug here, and the King of Cups in reverse, which we got all over the place yesterday. Okay, here we go. Divine Masculine, to come into alignment today, there is a third-party energy that you, I think at some point, were sort of in a little fun flirting kind of situation, wanting to date situation, and maybe had told them I like you, etc. And you need to end that. You need to make sure they know that you don't like them that way and want a long-term connection. And instead, you are at this point choosing yourself in this Ace of Cups energy. You have filled up your cup and you're not interested in these flirtations anymore, that you actually are looking for something a bit more serious. And you have to then express the serious feelings you have that you have been keeping locked within you in that shadow of the King of Cups energy. So I guess it would be your job to sort of give this information today to unburden yourself and talk about how you are planning to choose your spiritual fulfillment, however that plays out for you. Divine Feminine, you today, oh wow. You are getting this mask card, not showing true feelings, hide, personify, pretend, delude, and gaslighting. You're getting heart with a key in reverse, which says welcoming love, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together, and perfect. You are getting the birch rod or the whip in the Lenormand or the Ace of Wands. And you are getting the snake or the Queen of Wands. So Divine Feminine, I think that this is about accepting that. What's interesting, because if this mask is about you not showing your true feelings, hiding that you want to open your heart and no. Divine Feminine, I think that you are hiding from the Divine Masculine, that you are closing your heart because he's been engaging with another party. So you are not fully revealing, you're hiding your true feelings about that. You might be pretending, you might not be talking to him about it, but you are just, I think that there's this fear here that now that you have kind of peeked behind this mask, you don't know if you can open your heart now. It's very, very difficult for you to feel trusting. So maybe you're hiding these true feelings from yourself. Maybe you're pretending to close your heart, but really your heart is still open and you haven't fully released the masculine energy, but there's hiding that's going on. So I think you really need to start exploring those thoughts and feelings that came up when you saw these cards or when you were hearing me talk about them. They're also getting the 11 card again. So this is kind of like the twin flamey type of an energy, but I really feel so if we're looking at this as minor things you need to do, this is so not minor. I think you have to embrace that you are not showing your true feelings, and you're getting this Four of Swords in reverse, like this need to express your true feelings. I mean, I basically expressed my true feelings today in this. I don't know. I'm not wearing a mask. My heart is so confused. The bottom of the deck for you all is the Three of Pentacles in reverse, the Lady upright or the Ace of Swords, and the Butterfly. Relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. So what's going on in the 3D right now, this lack of teamwork, this lack of working together is preventing you from evolving to the next phase. There might actually be another party that's actively preventing you from being together, and the truth about that party being revealed has become something that is now really making it difficult for you to evolve into the next phase, and has required a lot of healing, and that's why it has taken place. And it's been uncomfortable, but it has helped you heal so that you can open your heart. Wow. So yeah, another tough reading. If you need extra support, pearlsprayers.com, tunedintarot@gmail. Send me an email. Instagram, tunedintarot on Instagram. I will be back here again on Wednesday with the obstacles removed spread. Looks like we got quite a few obstacles, so I'm sure that one will be just fun and games. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Tuned In Tarot. I will see you on Wednesday. Take care and have a great day today.